Are you frequently late for appointments? Do you feel like there's just not enough time during the day? And would you like to change that? Is your mental health being affected by something like poor time management or not being able to fulfill all the goals and visions that you have in your life because you feel like there simply isn't enough time? Time management is something that affects every aspect of your life, from business to relationships to being able to just have personal time for you. And time for you will give you a stronger sense of your mental health. So how much is poor time management actually affecting your mental health negatively? That is what we will be exploring today, and how to shift this and create better time management for your life, your living, and your business. I'm Jasmine Mendes, and welcome back to Unpacking. How significant is time in your life? Time dictates when we live, when we die. It dictates when we go to work, when we stop work. It dictates when we eat, when we sleep, our biological functions. So time ultimately is this huge concept that we never really think about or give much interest or introspect into. Time navigates everything in our lives, or so we have been brought up to believe. But now, what if I told you that you have total control over your time in your life, and you have the power to realize what would you like to do with that time and what would you not like to do with it? It's about time. That is today's topic. It's about time. So in the world, we see two very different types of people. Those who tend to be very on time, if not even early for events or functions, and those who really struggle to keep with time. Which one are you? Do you feel like you have good time management or poor time management? Now, good time management is often seen very vital to your work, your relationships, and to people being able to trust you and have the outcome that they desire with something. Whereas if you have poor time management and you really struggle to keep to a schedule or to meet people's expectations when meetings are being discussed or when deadlines have to be set, it can create a lot of dysfunction in your business, within your life, and within your home. So, what viewpoints do you have around time? Viewpoints are something that creates our reality, the points of view that we have about something. Now, what is your viewpoint when you look at time? Do you feel like there's not enough time in the day? Do you feel like the tasks you have take far too much time? Do you feel that you are completely overwhelmed? What viewpoints do you have of time? Too much, too little, not enough, running out? Those viewpoints will keep you stuck with time. So the first aspect would be, what is your viewpoint on time, and are they currently working for you? In order for us to change something fundamental in our lives, we first have to get insight into it. We then have to look at the points of view around it and assess ways in which we can change the point of view. Now, the first thing would be to make a choice to change. Are you willing to change your point of view on time? Or has it been serving you until this point? So what are you not choosing to acknowledge? That the excuse of having poor time management is keeping it in place. Maybe it gives you freedom to say, oh, but you know that I end up being late with things, or I'm sorry that I didn't make that deadline, but it wasn't my fault. It's because I don't have enough time during the day. Those things cap you because you've somewhere unconsciously believed or ingrained them into your system that they are actually working for you, and thus it's a vital part of who you are as a person. I'm the person that's always late. I'm the person that can't stick to time. I'm sorry, it's just part of who I am. So fundamentally, the first aspect would be getting insight into all the points of view that you have around time, poor time management, and how you assess time as a person, bringing it to the surface, and then looking at, okay, what would I like my point of view on time to be? How can I shift that? And if so, am I willing to create the movement that it would take for me to shift from a point of view of, I have no time, I'm not great with time, and I can't change this, to time becomes something that I can control. How I dictate my time is something that's important to me. My time is valuable, and I'm going to use it in a specific number of ways. I also want to talk a little bit about how much anxiety do you have over time? And that can be whether time management is good. You can still have a very high amount of anxiety surrounding time in your life. And it could also mean when your time management is very poor, that there's huge realms of anxiety. Now, My partner and I see time very differently. I tend to think that I'm quite good with time management, and he sees himself as being a little bit more poor with it. Now, the difficulty comes when we have such vastly different ways of attending to time. Something really simple like getting the kids to sleep at a specific time, going up to bed at the right time that I feel is best for them and that's going to create the most ease with the rest of the night is important to me. If we don't make it on that time specifically, I start getting quite anxious and the whole house obviously picks that up. For him, it's a lot more relaxed. Their time doesn't necessarily need to be so specific. This means that he can have more joy and fun with the girls and worry a little bit less about when is their routine or how do they have to fit into that routine. So both can be good and bad. That's one of the tools that you need to start learning. Where do you release the control with time and where do you really need to step up with it? There are many different ways that we can look at to improve time management. But not everything is so black and white as we would like to believe. In some aspects, being very good and very strict with time management can be really productive. In other ways, it can be controlling and exhausting. So we have to learn to be more flexible with time and to dictate our time really clever, depending on what we want as an outcome, depending on what consequence is going to come from the choice we make regarding our time. And thirdly, to have more choice and freedom where our time is concerned. Learning what you want to say yes to and what you definitely don't want to say yes to is a fundamental part of assessing what am I going to spend my time doing, what am I going to choose to spend time towards, and what am I absolutely not going to spend time towards. So the yes comes when somebody asks you, would you like to go and do this? Is this something that would be fun for you? Would you like to take on this new business venture? And you go, yes, that sounds amazing. That is generally something that you would like to give time to. It evokes some sort of enjoyment, excitement. You know that there's going to be a positive outcome or a positive consequence, and it's going to be useful to have your time spent doing that. Where you get a sense of, no, I actually don't have the time for this. That's fundamentally the excuse coming up firstly. So it's using time as the excuse to say no to something that you actually don't necessarily want to do. It would be far more empowering for you to see the excuse and say, it's not necessarily that I don't have time for this. It's not where I would like to focus my time. I don't think it would be valuable for my time at this point. Of course, you wouldn't have to say that to somebody. You could just internalize this and know what it is for you. So if it is going to create more to give your time towards something, that's when you're going to say yes. If you feel fundamentally it is not going to create more for your life, for your living, for your relationships, or for your enjoyment, then no. But not no because you don't have the time. No based on the fact that this is not where you would like to fundamentally spend your time. I really require that you have an image with me right now. When you go on a holiday and you know that you're going to enjoy something fantastic on that holiday, what does it feel like to wake up in the morning knowing that you're going to go on that adventure, or that you're going to achieve something, or that you're going to do something that is just so enjoyable and so excitable? You wake up feeling completely different to a day when you know you've got a long day of work or you have to do a mundane task. So another great way to start scheduling your days is to have one highlight of your day that you put into every single day, that you desire to create the time for it, and then actually do a movement or create change to put that time in place for you to have the highlights of your day. It doesn't have to be something big and elaborate like a holiday. It's just that brings up the most emotions. But what would be exciting for you? What would be the highlights of your day? Would it be 10 minutes outside with your child playing soccer? Would it be a romantic dinner with your partner? Would it be cooking your favorite meal? Or you love cooking, so that's your part and your time to just play your music and enjoy having time to yourself. Whatever the highlight of your day looks like, it's important that you create that as your fundamental focal point, and you create the time and space to have that each and every day. To-do lists. What comes up emotionally for you when I say that word? it's supposed to be a tool to help you to calm down and lessen anxiety. Yet for so many people, it builds up all of these intense emotions around what I haven't done, what I should be doing. Oh, have I even done my list? Can create some sort of anxiety for you. Now, a to-do list should be really a practical tool to get thoughts from your head onto a physical piece of paper. We know that if we process from thinking to physically writing something down, it alleviates the stress. Why does it do that? It takes a thought that seems overwhelming with large volumes of emotions, and it makes it something practical that you can see, you can look at, and you can achieve. That is the aim of a to-do list. It's not to make you completely feel overwhelmed. It's also to create clarity with your thinking, that you have more space for memory, more space for being present, because you have less worry about, oh, I need to remember to do that. So every time you have that thought of, I need to remember this task, write it down on your to-do list. It takes all of the energy you're consuming by keeping it held in place, and you don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry about it. You attend to it when you get the time. Now, on your to-do list should be your very important tasks, your not so important tasks, and your tasks that you still have a lot of time to do. Those are 3 ways in which you can position your to-do list differently. Another big thing to look at is your to-do list for today, your to-do list for the week, and your to-do list for the month. You can also have a to-do list which is your fun to-do list. So what kind of things would you really like to do, but they're not necessarily important right now, but at some point in your life you'd like to do them. So maybe that can be your fun, creative to-do list. Time blocking is something that researchers have found to be exceptional when it comes to doing good time management. Now, it is also something that's vital as therapists. As therapists, we have our own emotional stuff that we need to hold as well. And if we are not doing that accurately for ourselves, we definitely cannot hold our clients in the space that they require. So something that therapists learn very early on is the tool of time blocking. We literally block our time that is dedicated to our own mental health and to anything that is going to contribute to our life and living to create a better outcome for ourselves. It sounds a little bit selfish, but you cannot fill other people's cup if your cup is not filled. So time blocking is a schedule that you are going to, a time frame or a schedule that you will period into your time that literally blocks out time just for you. Now, it doesn't mean you get 6 hours to watch TV, unless that's really going to contribute to your mental health, but it probably won't. It's about finding unique ways that refuel you, that give you more time, space, and clarity to think about the things you desire in life, to think about things that you would like to change, and it gives you the space to choose for those 2-3 hours. That time is blocked solely for you, your life, your living, and anything that you desire or want to fill into that space. An interesting concept is Parkinson's law. Parkinson's law states that the amount of time you assign to a task, the work will amplify to fit the time. So if you assign, for example, this video, if we assign 6 hours to do the video, it will fill up to 6 hours worth of time. But if we only assign 1 hour to 2 hours to do the video, thus it will be done. So realize how much time are you assigning to tasks, and oftentimes you don't think that they will take up that amount of time, or that you could have actually done it in half the amount of time. Be very careful with this concept. Allocate the time that is required and stick to it. If it gets beyond that point, stop the task and reset. It means that the task is taking too long and probably isn't the quality or standard that you're desiring it to be. Delegation is one of the greatest tools that you can have in your toolkit, especially if you're a business owner or even as a family person. I mean, how many moms are completely overwhelmed with having a full-time job, knowing that they have to watch their kids, cook, clean, look after the household, and make sure that everybody's schedule is stuck to. So delegation is a tool in which you start to alleviate all of the things that you're holding in place that you feel only you can do. Now, what does that mean? That means that whoever else you assign tasks, or if it's a business that you're giving different tasks to different employees, this is a really big, vital part. The employee that you give the task to, or the person that you're going to give the task to, will never do it the way that you will do it. It's just impossible. We all function differently, and we all have different tools and different ways of functioning, different ways and outcomes of doing stuff. So they are only going to give you, and this is best case scenario, 80% worth of what you would do at that desired task. Now, delegation states, okay, my invoicing is really important because it gets accredited through medical aids. So that is something that I can't give to somebody else. That has to be 100% dedicated, me focused. But something like cleaning my practice is something that it's okay. If a person only does 70 or 80% worth of what I would do, it still means that the job is going to get done, and it will still be enough to sustain the rest of what needs to happen. That is what delegation is. It is, who can I give this task to, knowing that it's not going to get done the way that I'm going to do it. Which task can I definitely not assign to anybody else because I need to make sure that this gets done in the best possible way. And which tasks am I putting into my day that actually don't need anybody to take care of, or they will unravel by themselves. So delegation is really vital when you start looking at who's going to have this task, how efficiently can they do it, and what part am I willing to let go of control at this point, or not willing to let go of that control. Lastly, we all have a choice with which to be satisfied or unsatisfied. Now, what does choice really mean? It means that you get total power and control in that moment to say, what am I going to hold on to? What am I going to let go of? What is serving you? What is not serving you? Is a very great way of looking at it. Is this going to create more in my life, or is this going to create less in my life? Now, the choice to be satisfied means it might not have been the picture perfect day. The time management might not have been the most perfect, well executed time management plan. But are you at least satisfied with the outcome of today? Was it productive? Did you achieve something? Did you at least have a highlight today? How much joy did you have planning your day? And the time blocking is very important when it comes into that, because that's often the time that you'll look back at and say, maybe I didn't achieve all my tasks, but you know what? I had an hour to refuel, and that meant that for the whole afternoon, I had so much joy with my children. Or I really enjoyed doing this new design for the business, and it gave me such a new creative idea that I really want to run with. And for the first time in a long time, this business is starting to look a little bit more interesting. So when you can get to that point of satisfaction, you know that you're on the path to changing something significant in your life and fundamentally making time work for you. Time is an extremely complicated aspect of life, and it involves all aspects of our life. Everything is dictated and controlled in some way by the time that we have available. So knowing that we have very limited time in our lives, let's use it as efficiently and effectively as we potentially can. If you like this video, you're welcome to like, subscribe, comment, or even ask for topics that you think would be more interesting and tools that you would like to get out of it.